Have you ever felt drained? Not tired, not sleepy, but emptied, as if something took a piece of you while you weren't looking? What if vampires don't live in castles? What if they don't fear sunlight? And what if you've already met one and survived only because it wasn't finished with you yet? Tonight, we step into a version of reality where vampires don't hide in the shadows. They hide in plain sight. And once you see them for what they are, you can never unsee them. This isn't a story about ancient legends or Gothic myths. This is a story about now, about hospitals, night shifts, apartments, missing people, and a truth so disturbing it feels safer to call it fiction. What you're about to hear was pieced together from witness accounts, security footage, and one final recording that was never meant to be heard. By the end of this story, you may understand why some people feel watched even when they're alone, and why the dark sometimes feels aware. It started with a man named Elias Vorn. No criminal record, no social media, no known family. He appeared in the city quietly, renting a small apartment above a closed pharmacy. He paid in cash, never complained, never invited anyone inside. Neighbors described him the same way. Quiet, polite, always smiling. But they also said his eyes never moved when he smiled. Elias never ordered food, never shopped for groceries, never ate in public, yet he never seemed hungry. A night guard in the building noticed something strange on the security cameras. Elias left his apartment every night at exactly 2:17 in the morning, not 2:16, not 2:18, always 2:17. He returned before 4, but the part that stayed with the guard long after his shift ended was this. On the stairwell camera, Elias cast no shadow. At first, they blamed the lighting. They always do, because accepting patterns means accepting that something might be wrong. A few months later, hospitals across the city began reporting a strange trend. Patients were arriving exhausted, severely anemic, disoriented. But there were no wounds, no signs of blood loss, no explanation. They all described the same dream, a figure sitting nearby in the dark, not touching them, just talking, listening. One patient said the longer the man spoke, the weaker they felt, as if every word took something from them. Doctors blamed stress, sleep disorders, shared delusion, until a nurse noticed something unsettling. Every patient had crossed paths with the same man, a volunteer at shelters, a visitor in night wards, someone who helped lost people get home. Elias Vorn. And none of them could remember his face clearly. They described him differently, different hair, different eyes, but the same feeling, cold, intimate, hungry. A freelance journalist named Mara Klein decided coincidence wasn't good enough. She followed Elias one night, 2:17 in the morning. He didn't go far. He entered an abandoned subway access tunnel sealed years ago. Mara waited, then followed. Beneath the city, she found a room that didn't belong there. Clean, bright, white, medical chairs, recording equipment, and walls covered in handwritten notes. Not spells, not symbols, names, dates, emotions, fear, guilt, grief, love. Mara whispered into her recorder that this wasn't feeding, this was farming. The lights turned on behind her. Elias stood there, smiling. He told her blood was inefficient. Pain lasted longer. The recording ends. Mara was found 2 days later, alive, but she never spoke again. Authorities sealed the tunnel and closed the case. Years passed. Then Elias appeared again. Different city, different name, same eyes. This time he worked as a therapist, helping people process trauma. Sessions lasted hours. Clients left lighter, calmer, but also quieter. One former patient said Elias didn't take their pain, he took their ability to feel it. During a power outage, security cameras caught something impossible. Elias standing in full daylight, unbothered, unchanged, no reflection in the glass behind him. That's when investigators understood. This wasn't a vampire from legend. This was something that adapted, something that learned humans fear myths, so it hid behind reality instead. Then Elias made a mistake. He fed on the wrong person. A man named Jonah Reeve pretended to be broken, pretended to be weak, but he recorded everything. In his final audio log, Jonah whispered that Elias fed on what people suppressed, and when there was nothing left to take, he moved on. Jonah disappeared that same night. Elias hasn't been seen since, which raises the most terrifying question of all. Did he starve, or did he learn to feed without being noticed at all? Because if something can live off your fear, your guilt, your silence, ask yourself, what part of you feels missing, and who benefited from it? If this story stayed with you, if it made the quiet feel uncomfortable, then you're already closer to the truth than most. If you want more stories that follow you into the dark, like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. And when you're ready, watch the next story on dark narratives, because the dark isn't empty, it's watching.